Hello, art friends. My name is Fleshwad, and Merry Christmas. Or should I say, Merry Fleshmas. I hope you're warm and cozy wherever you are, because today I have a special Christmas-themed Drawing Your Creepypasta OCs for you. Before we get started, I would like to thank my mom for buying me an iPad for Christmas. A couple of these drawings were done in Metabang on my computer, and a couple are done in Procreate on the iPad. You will be able to tell which is which due to the recording and art styles, as I'm still learning how to draw in Procreate. I'm so excited to start creating art on the go, and I can't thank my mom enough. Now let's begin. Our first Creepypasta OC was submitted by Tickowitz and is titled Recipe for Disaster. Everyone loves Christmas. It's the best time of the year. And my family and I were getting prepared on Christmas Eve to give Santa his cookies and milk. Me and my brother were leaping with joy and excitement for Christmas. "Maybe I'll get a four-wheeler," my brother told me. I shook my head and rolled my eyes. I pushed him back a bit. "Please, you'll only get coal for Christmas. I'd be the one who would get my Barbie doll," I retorted. My brother stuck his tongue out at me and blew a raspberry. I squealed and started running. "Kids, no running in the house," my mother shouted from the kitchen. I looked around the living room and saw my brother Byron nowhere. I groaned and went upstairs to my room and shut the door. In the middle of the night, I heard pots and pans being rattled downstairs. I yawned and rubbed my eyes, opening my door to see Byron looking out his. He looked at me and I shrugged. We both went down the steps, cringing when the steps gave a groan. The kitchen light was on inside. I saw what seemed to be a life-size gingerbread man. The head snapped to our direction and I moved out of sight instinctively. It caught eyes on my brother and used its hands to run over to him. It grabbed Byron by the neck. The cookie cutter dug into his skin as the gingerbread man opened his mouth 90 degrees, and flames shot out. Byron tried to scream, but his face was already burning, and with one clean chomp, my brother's burnt head was rolling on the floor. I cried silently as the gingerbread man dragged my brother back to the kitchen. I scrambled to my feet. Running up the stairs, I dove into my bed crying. The groans of steps were heard again, and I shut my eyes, trying to pretend to sleep. My door opened and I heard breathing, but then the door closed and the thing crawled downstairs again. It's been 18 years after my brother's death and I'm an adult now, but to keep my children safe, I always tell them to never go downstairs before the sun rises, because I know whenever the moon is out, the gingerbread man would always come in. Our next creepypasta is also cookie-themed. It was submitted by Luna but Smarter, and is titled Milk and Cookies. Just a heads up, some of these creepypastas will not be accompanied by a drawing. In order to be able to read more stories but not completely kill my hands, I had to do some of the stories this way. I hope that's okay, and I hope you still enjoy. I remember when I was little, my grandma would tell me a story. She always said, "Don't eat the milk and cookies for Santa." Honestly, I didn't see why I shouldn't. Grandma would always say that, but one Christmas I was stupid. My mom told me to go put the milk and cookies out for Santa, so I did. I decided to take a tiny bite of the cookies and drink some milk. My sister stared at me from the door. Anne never really talked, so I just waved. "We have no cookies for Santa now, John," Anne suddenly said. "Oh, it's fine. Santa won't mind." I then walked past Anne. I thought she would just ask Mom to go to the store to get more cookies. It was nighttime now. My mom tucked me into bed and wished me good night. I found it hard to sleep since Christmas was tomorrow. Then I heard something. A loud noise from the kitchen. I instantly thought it was Santa and went down to check. I was about to scream, but I covered my mouth. Anne was there. She was holding a tray of freshly baked cookies, but they had a horrible smell and you could see bits of flesh and bones sticking out of them. "Anne, what is that?" I screamed at her. She instantly turned to me and I started to call for Mom. "I told you not to eat the cookies," Anne said while having a wicked smile on her face. I started to panic as she walked towards me. I threw milk at her face that I found on my side. I blinked for a moment and then I was knocked out. I woke up tied to the fireplace. Then I realized what was in my mouth. It was cookies and milk. "Merry Christmas, John. You'll make some great cookies for Santa," Anne said while eating a cookie. She then pushed me straight into the fireplace. I screamed. "Haha, did you leave the cookies?" Our next creepypasta is titled Present of Death and was submitted by goldenmoon_fire, gold flames. I got a black and red present for my brother to give him on Christmas. My brother wasn't nice to me at all. He would tease and hit me. We argued all the time and it was rare for us to get along, so I bought a present for him that I knew what was going to happen because I gave it to my ex-boyfriend for cheating on me. When I saw him die from the curse of the present, I felt happier than I've ever been before. Now it was my brother's turn. I dressed in a red Christmas dress and a smile on my face while giving him the present. He opened it in his room and I heard his blood-curdling scream echoing throughout the house. I picked up the present and walked off into the cold, snowy night with the present in my hands, looking for my next victim to die from my present of death. Merry Christmas. Lock your doors and stay inside. And if you see a black and red present on your doorstep or under your tree, don't open it, or you're the next person scratched off her list. Our next creepypasta also revolves around presents and is titled I Wish You a Deadly Christmas. Every year, a girl comes to my door singing the same Christmas carol while wearing the same sweater with a girl wearing a Christmas hat and giving the same card that I always threw away. She always sung, I wish you a Merry Christmas. This year, I expected the same annoying girl. While sitting in the comfort of my bed, I heard the Christmas carol. I decided to stay in bed, as she would probably go away. It grew louder though. I ignored it, not realizing someone was breathing on my feet. Then it became a scream. This was when I decided to sit up, and it was then I saw at the foot of my bed.
Why didn't you hear me?
She screeched. Her voice was scratchy, deafening.
Why didn't you help me?
Her cherry red hair, now bloody, fell on my leg. Huge tear droplets of madness dropped down her cheeks. She threw all the cards on my chest. I saw what she was talking about. She was trying to cry for help. Guilt ran through my veins. Then it happened. A girl who looked just like her walked up to her and grabbed her feet and yanked her back. She said something. To this day, I don't know what it was. It's been a year and her dark olive green eyes have haunted me still. My doorbell rung. Who's ringing at this time? Someone sent me a present. Let me open it. There's a lock of cherry red hair. There's another box in here. There's a finger. Oh God, what does the card say? I wish you a deadly Christmas. I wish you a deadly Christmas and a bloody New Year. Our next creepypasta was submitted by Cloudy Aliens and is titled Santa's Shadow. Belle was awake listening to her parents fight But this time it was Christmas Eve. Belle wished her parents would stop fighting. Then she heard something in the chimney. And then she heard goat hooves inside the chimney, walking inside. She quickly hid under her blankets and heard the hooves walk towards her bed. It ripped through the blankets and grabbed Belle. Her pupils turned into bells and her skin turned as yellow as a bell. And every time she stepped up, you would hear a jingle of a bell inside her. She quickly walked into the kitchen and turned off the light and made it pitch black. The only thing you could hear were bells shaking. Her parents were terrified. Belle grabbed her father and stuffed bells down his throat and in his eyes to make him like her. She did the same with her mother, and she sang a song. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to kill every Christmas day. Our next creepypasta was submitted by Coca-Cola and is titled The Nutcracker. It was the day of the Nutcracker. I loved Christmas and the Nutcracker. I couldn't help but bug Mommy, asking, "When are we going, Mommy? Mommy, answer me, please." I was only 8, but she ignored me. "We aren't going this year, sweetie," Mommy said back. I was upset and started to set up the nutcrackers in my room. I love the nutcrackers a lot more than most kids. I'm not like most kids. I only like Christmas, like most kids, but that wasn't the reason. I loved Christmas because I loved nutcrackers. I wanted to go to the Nutcracker play, but Mommy said no. I got into my beautiful nutcracker dress I'd never outgrown. I was full of rage and anger, and I was trembling. I walked to the kitchen and grabbed the biggest nutcracker. I walked to Mommy. "Mommy, why don't you love me?" I asked. "What do you mean, sweetheart?" Mommy questioned me. I didn't like her lies. Her hurting me. "You won't love the nutcracker, you won't need me!" I screamed at her before bashing her in the chest with the nutcracker. She never took me to the Nutcracker when she promised every year. I walked to my room and started packing my nutcrackers and dresses and toys. "Merry Christmas, nutcrackers," I whispered and ran away as far as I could before tripping and bashing my own head in on a rock. I woke up to my 2 nutcrackers alive. "Hello, Mama. Merry Christmas, you're one of us," the nutcracker said to me. I was paranoid and schizophrenic, so I heard things. I felt smaller and wooden. I was the Nutcracker. Our next 3 stories all have to deal with Christmas trees. First up is Christmas Tree by Tom B. Wolfe. No one ever believes that a tree can be just as valuable as a human. Humans have tricked their minds into thinking, "Oh, no worries, it's just a tree." They always keep coming. Oh, how lovely to be 273 rings old, then to get cut down faster than a tree can even say wait. Humans disgusted me more on Christmas. Humans were just made to hate, cutting us, bruising us, not seeing the pain in our eyes. But when we do something unspeakable, like talk, oh, it's such a surprise. My friends call me the living tree, 'cause I'm always lucky. I'm left to be. Perfect smiles, laughs, not realizing a thing that's happening around them. Cutting trees like no other, trying to cut down my friend as I'm begging and pleading in my mind to spare him. But this time, oh, this time, our revenge shall start. Every tree has 2 lives, but you have to play the other one smart. This Christmas, humans will be the trees. Humans will be the present. Now that you're in fear, have you finally learned your lesson? Just saying, I really like that one, and it also rhymed, so thank you for that. I needed a rhyming story this Christmas. Thank you. Our next creepypasta is titled The Black Ornaments and was submitted by Mark Polarius. I think we've all seen a Christmas tree before. Whether it was your own or a friend's, we have all seen the beautiful red, green, and silver ornaments. And the lights, the beautiful bright lights. But we never think about what would happen if Christmas didn't exist. I think about it all the time. Last year, me and my older brother got a Christmas tree. We had finally found a tree, but it was dark. When we got home, we went straight to bed. But when we woke up the next morning, we found the tree decorated with lights and ornaments. But not the usual red, green, and silver ornaments. They were black. Pure black. The lights flickered on and then 2 minutes later flickered off. All day this would happen, and finally we decided to take the ornaments and lights off the tree. We replaced all the ornaments and lights with ones that matched the Christmas season. But that didn't help. The next morning, the black ornaments and flickering lights were back. We kept trying to get rid of the decorations, but they just came back. They were there forever. Even after Christmas, we tried to get rid of the tree, but it kept coming back. Our Christmas had died forever. Our last Christmas tree creepypasta is titled My Christmas Tree and was submitted by Kitten Sorks. When I was a little girl, I always dreamed of having a Christmas tree. All those lights and the star. Oh, I imagined it being beautiful. However, my parents hated Christmas. They would act more mean and cruel during December, and to me, those days were living hell. One day, my parents decided to taunt me by taking me tree shopping. We walked into this old place that sold trees. Though each time we went by a tree, my parents would punch or hit me, then laugh. "This is your fault," or "You're at fault for this." I would remain quiet, or it would get worse. When we reached the middle of the tree field, we stopped at this beautiful red tree. "This is the tree we're getting, just for you," my mom had said. I was so happy. Maybe the year wouldn't be so bad. Oh, how wrong I was. My world plunged into darkness as soon as we got home. I woke up as the tree. My body spread with decorations. I stared down at my parents, opened my mouth, and dragged them in. The day a new family moved into our house, it was Christmas Day. They had found something horrifically beautiful. A red tree with organs. They tried to throw it out and set it on fire, but the tree came back. Suddenly, black long limbs reached towards the family and picked them up. A mouth opened from the tree and swallowed them whole. More organs and limbs appear on the tree, and it grows taller. Another decoration for my Christmas tree. Our last creepypasta drawing story is titled The Snowman and was submitted by R. Galabies. As I finish my snowman, I smile. Done. I whisper. I look over at my sister and her boyfriend. Hey, which boyfriend is that, Mike or Max? I get them confused. I say, glaring at my sister. She stops making out with her boyfriend. What was that? She says in my face all of a sudden. You heard me, or are you deaf? I snap and turn around, storming off. That night, I was lost, cold and hungry. My skin felt as if it were made of snow. I trip and fall, hitting my head on the ground. Help! I spoke out softly. Then everything went black. I wake up, my skin a strange white, and for some reason, I felt no cold, but I could see everything was frozen. I stand up and start walking towards the dark woods. They'll see what love deals like. News broadcast. 2 teens were found dead, buried in the snow with a tiny snowman next to them. and a note that said, "Love is pain, so that's what they got." There's been 5 other murders like this. We also have news about a missing girl. She is 4'11", age 13, and has caramel hair. If you see her, call the police. I mumble as I watch from outside a shop, covered in blood. My hand makes its way onto the glass and makes a snowman. Freaking love and holiday cheer sickens me. As I look around, I catch a glimpse of a girl, my age probably, on the phone looking at me. I make my way to her laughing. "Do you like my snowman? I work so very hard." Too bad. The end. Our last creepypasta is titled Santa's Stomach and was submitted by Year-Round Reindeer. Every year, my family would go to the mall for my little sister Emily to sit on Santa's lap and tell him what she wanted for Christmas. As we walked into the mall, Emily was so excited to see Santa. "I've been a super good girl this year." As we approached the usual spot where the setup was, there was no Santa. We looked around for a bit, but there was no Santa. After about an hour of searching, we decided to head back home. Emily fairly disappointed, and my mom and dad reassuring her that he was just busy, making her all her favorite toys. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I see someone dressed as Santa. His red suit was tethered and dirty, but it looked like Santa from the bleak moments I saw him. I quickly debunked this as just my imagination. As we got in the car, I thought to myself, why wasn't Santa in the mall, but outside? A week went by, and it was 2 days before Christmas. Emily got over the miscommunication at the mall, and I was about ready to fall asleep when I heard a loud boom on our roof. I shot up from my half-asleep daze, and I looked around the room. I figured it was just my imagination and went to look outside my window. As I was walking to my window, I paused, seeing a dash of red rush past the window. I quickly moved to the window and looked out. There was nothing visible in the blizzard outside. I finally got my nerves together and went back to my bed to try and get some sleep before the rest of the family came the next morning. As I was approaching the mist of sleep, I saw Santa. He was wearing the same old torn suit I saw him in about a week ago. He had a long grin on his face and his eyes. God, I can't forget his eyes. They were blood red with 2 small white dots in the centers. I tried to sit up, but he was too quick. I saw him twitch as if someone poked him hard in the back, and a horrible crack followed. Before I could get the chance to get out of bed and run, his stomach opened to reveal rows of razor-sharp teeth. I hope you guys enjoyed all of the Christmas creepypasta stories. Thanks to everyone who submitted a story. I hope you are all having happy holidays and a Merry Christmas if you celebrate. If not, I hope you are at least enjoying delicious food and spending time with loved ones. Remember to keep a close eye on your Christmas tree and be wary of any suspicious presents. Before I end the video, I would like to open up creepypastas for Valentine's Day. Starting next year, I want to include more stories in these videos and more drawings. However, in order to do that and to spend more time on drawings, I'll need to open suggestions at least a month in advance. So sorry if it seems too early for that. Please leave your Valentine creepypasta OC stories down below and include the word Valentine's in the comments to make it easier to find. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next video, bye!